Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Bold Analysis. Today, the 17th of February, since morning, there is a story that has been trending in Twitter. And if you check, you realize that Joseph Kinyua, the former head of public service, that name has been trending in Twitter. And it's because I think Nation leaked a story that William Ruto recalled a senior civil servant who allegedly worked in State House, who was an experienced person but retired, to come back and help fix what will be a slow start to the State House operations as far as the new team is concerned. And now the good people of Kenya narrowed down that person was Joseph Kinyua. So for those who may not be privy to the profile of this gentleman, Joseph Kinyua was supposed to retire in 2018. And he was supposed to retire by then. And former President Uhuru Kenyatta wanted to tap on his experience and asked him for an extension so that they will still work together and so that he retires with Uhuru Kenyatta in 2023. And actually, true to his course, he retired with former president. And Kenyans also need to be reminded that behind the peaceful transition of power that we witnessed, the man that was fully credited for that was Joseph Kinyua. Despite the fact that, that was head of state, he was the head of public service. And despite the fact that he was seen as a very close Uhuru Kenyatta ally, he was the wheel behind handing over power. And nothing, if you check the transition committee and assumption of office, he actually played his role. But then, the information coming out now is that it seems he is being sought after by the State House team. So I've been looking at what Kenyans are saying, and I want to use elimination method just to narrow down to what has been going on, because this is a move that has set president against his deputy. I want to tell you why. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and also like our video. I want to say thank you very much for those who support us from different parts of the globe. Asanteni sana. Kindly subscribe. When you subscribe, you help us increase and boost the visibility of this channel. Let me just remind you some two developments. And I remember one close, I think this report emerged a little better today, that those who are being fired, of course, we have Uhuru Kenyatta appointees in different parastatals. Some firings who are being fired from Mount Kenya are being replaced by people from the other tribe, rather from the Kalenjin. And one that too has caused that debate, I think at KPA, Michael Lerongo was shown the door, and Josam, was given the mantle. Even though he's still trying to survive because there's a case that was lodged, I think, by LSK challenging his appointment. Today, there's also that of Tourism Board. Dr. Ambrose Kioko, I think, who was kicked out. His appointment was revoked and replaced by, I think, Simon Koech or something. Which many have been saying that Rigathi have quarreled with William Ruto twice about some of these appointments. Of course, the papers have been reporting about disagreements as far as these appointments are concerned. It's imminent. It's possible. I don't think it's something that can shock, because politics is about interest. And When a leader is pushing interest of his people, nothing wrong with that. So for me, I don't think it's shocking. But I want to get back to this point of, just let me just narrow down to Kinyua. Many questions are being asked. And in this analysis, I want to eliminate for you one by one every other premise on this, so that we see if you agree with me on my position or you'll also pick number one. The first one is that William Ruto could be going for, and I think let's not make it be a Kinyua thing. Let's just make it for Uhuru Kenyatta allies. Even on this one, we're talking about Kinyua. They're saying that they're going for that powerful state officer because there is some sense of incompetence in his team. Now, we know we have a State House team that has been working. And at one point, if William Ruto, if President William Ruto is feeling like his team, there is some bit of incompetence, do you think that will be a ground enough to go for Uhuru Kenyatta ally? Like, for example, Kinyua? Do you think? Because again, you can still support, you can still change in within. I don't think he can run short of other people that would help solve the competence question. Or he can still make backroom calls to some of those people who already have that experience, to know how things roll. It's a possibility that you cannot underestimate. But I don't buy the question of incompetence. I want to agree, yes, there could be incompetence in some areas, but that would not be a sufficient ground to call Kinyua back. So that one for me, I put X. Let's look at the second one. This one came from my member of parliament, Samuel Atande, who was saying that Kinyua betrayed Uhuru Kenyatta and could have worked with William Ruto behind the scene. And so Ruto is just rewarding him because even though he was with Uhuru Kenyatta, but they're the people that did not support Raila candidature. So that is my member of parliament. I think he said that in Twitter. So then, do you think that if Ruto is to reward Uhuru loyalists who worked with him behind the scene, then he will take him to a very critical position as that in the State House? My answer is no. If that was the intention, then you can easily give him an ambassador job, head some parastatal, or maybe a task force somewhere. I don't think he will be taken to State House, because on that, how would you get the loyalty of a person who was with William Ruto, or with Uhuru Kenyatta, but also supported you? So that person seems to have a divided attention. On that ground, I don't think William Ruto will be gullible enough to pick such a person to take to State House. So in terms of rewarding someone who worked with former president and supported him, I have my doubts. Let's look at the third one. Ruto, those who are saying that Ruto is saving face because he seems to be facing a backlash from just arbitrarily revoking appointments of Uhuru Kenyatta's people. And so bringing him back, or rather bringing them back, is just trying to say that I don't have a personal vendetta. Then, if that is the ground, then it would not be Kinyua. Why? Kinyua was not fired. Kinyua was not sacked. Kinyua retired. So on that ground, it does not hold. Remember, as making this, it's just the general observation has been coming out, and that's what the Twitter team, that's what Kenyans have narrowed down, that it's about Kinyua. So, is there a plot to isolate Uhuru by taking his retirees back to government? That I'll take that lightly, kidogo. But why isolate Uhuru? Uhuru is inconsequential as far as future politics is concerned. He's not going to vie. He's not going to vie. And these people who are around him, If they did not, if they had to play a role, then they were to play a role in the 2022 general election. So if they didn't play that role, then they're also equally inconsequential. Now, that brings me to my third point. Could be a long plan to destabilize Rigathi, who have over time shown publicly disdain against Uhuru Kenyatta and his allies. Think around it. And so that's why this story came out. There have also been other discussions that they have not been comfortable. What would you think? We know that the DP Rigathi of late has toned down. You give credit where it's due. He has toned down. Is more meetings hata akifanya anaongea kidogo alafu na rais anaongea amerudi chini in terms of those attacks. But the kind of venom that he had against Uhuru Kenyatta and his allies, I don't think would allow him to would make William Ruto to bring Uhuru Kenyatta's people around. He would not want to say that because the Rigathi believed that Uhuru used his allies to frustrate them. So if you ask me, amongst the other reasons, I can narrow down for two. One is they want to destabilize Rigathi. Number two, which is also close, is that it could be true that the state of steam, maybe operations are not right. Because as we talk honestly, there are a couple of people that believe that William Ruto is not getting one of the best advisors around. He's not surrounded with good advisors. Yes, that's general feeling because things are not going on right. Now, a wild one came through. But then, do you think it's just a plan to do a reshuffle? And you need to change guards on who to who? It's just trying to bring people and do a reshuffle. So what do you think about all those that I've mentioned? For me, I stick with this. Destabilize Rigathi.